Welcome, YouTube people, how are you? Welcome to this series. Do you remember our aero garden, our hydroponic system? Well, it is down there and it's working really good. Now, this series is going to be about making that same system, but in a homemade way. A hydroponic system of floating roots, with a really low budget compared to the Aero Garden that is a brand product, and it obviously costs a lot more. So we're gonna make a hydroponic system of floating root, with materials you can find in any stores nearby your houses. So I'm gonna tell you step by step, and I will tell you the instructions so we can make this together. So we can look at the progress and let's see if it really works, a homemade system of floating root. The most important material that we're gonna use is our container, where we're gonna place up some water. I found this container in a store called Lumen here in Mexico. The price is more or less $20. We're not gonna need the cover, because we're gonna fill this container in water, and we're gonna place as a cover a bed of styrofoam. We're gonna check everything I'm saying step by step, so don't worry. This container is not that big, but it's also not that little. So we're gonna be able to place a lot of liters down here. I calculated like 50 liters down here, sorry. Down here, to make the bed that we're gonna place in the container, we're gonna need these plates of styrofoam. We're gonna place this styrofoam down here as a bed. We're gonna need to cut down this styrofoam so it can fit perfectly into this container as a bed. These plates, the prices are less than $1 each plate of styrofoam. Down here we have a painting ball. It's gonna be useful. We're gonna need to paint our container. Why? Because we can't have a transparent container, because if some light passes through this container, some algae can actually grow down here, and algae are really bad for hydroponic system, because it minimizes the nutrients and the force that our plants can actually take in a hydroponic system. So we're gonna use that ball painting later. And down here we have some air stones. These air stones are, I bought 4 of them. They are really cheap actually, these air stones. Less than $1 each one. And we're gonna place these air stones in each corner of our container, so we can have a really good oxygenation in our hydroponic system. These air stones are really essential, just for the plants not to rot. Down here we have some mini blocks. Mini blocks as a plant starter. We're gonna be able to plant some plants down here. This is called the rock wool. They recommended it to me a lot. And there are various blocks. They are 45 blocks in this package. It is going to be essential to place them in our flower pots. This is going to be the first material to absorb some humidity for our plants. we're gonna place some seeds down here already germinated. So the price of this material was like $5, $8, but they actually guaranteed me that this material is really good. Down here we have our hydroponic flower pots. These flower pots are really special because they actually have up some holes, as you can see. So if you place up some soil down here, it's not going to work, obviously. But these holes are actually good because the water can actually pass through, and the roots from our plants can benefit from the nutrients and the water. And through those holes, the roots can actually pass and keep growing. I bought 10 flower pots, hydroponic flower pots, on a price of 40 cents each one. Now down here, a really important tool for our hydroponic system, our air pump. This air pump was really expensive, but it's an essential part of this type of systems. As you can see, this air pump can actually pump up to 15 liters per minute using 4 entrances, 4 different entrances. This refers to that we will be able to place up to 4 hoses in 1 hose in each entrance, in total 4 hoses. In these entrances we're gonna place these hoses, and the hoses are down here. The hoses are just simple plastic ones for fish. I bought them from a Skoda store. These are 3 meters and the price was $1. It is really cheap, and we're gonna have a lot of meters of plastic hose. These plastic hoses are going to be connected to these entrances of our air pump, and also connected in the other side to our air stones. They will permit us a good oxygenation of our hydroponic system. In the last place, as you can see, the wool rock, we're gonna place the plants, and at the same time we're gonna place wool rock in our flower pots. But as the rock wool is not that big to fill the flower pot, we're gonna use other type of rock to fill up the flower pots. This rock is called tesontle, and we're gonna use it to fill up the flower pot and to retain up some water and minerals and up some nutrients to benefit our plants. This tesontle rock is really good, and the boy that sold me this material told me that this was a gallon. I don't know if that's the way to measure this, but this gallon cost, the price was $3. So all the prices are really cheap compared to the AeroGarden, the brand hydroponic system. So let's start working. The first thing we're gonna do is paint our container with our black painting. I forgot to say the black paint, the price was $1.5. So let's start working, man. Well, people, that's the way I made the container. Unfortunately, our black paint did not work at all, so I had to place plastic bags, black plastic bags. I had to attach them to place them surrounding all our container, and it was a good choice. And now what we're gonna do is our styrofoam bed. I'm making it already, as you can see. You can see the form. It's taking up some form already. I did not calculate the distance at all, but it's looking good. So all the holes we're gonna, if it doesn't fit correctly, we're gonna fill the holes with styrofoam. And now to make the hole for the flower pots, I'm using this cutter. With this tool, we're gonna make the holes for our flower pots. So finishing this, I'm gonna show you how the bed fits down here in our container. So look, people, now we are finishing making our holes for our flower pots. It looks really good, and we're gonna finish making these last two holes to let you see the technique that I'm using for making the holes. So, depending the form, I'm just placing the flower pot, as you can see, without some pressure. And without some movements, we can actually perform this styrofoam and make a correct mold of our flower pot. The holes actually get really good, a really good hole to fit perfectly our flower pots. So you can actually use this technique for making the holes in the styrofoam. We cannot leave any hole in our bed to prevent the making of some algae. So let's continue making the holes and make them our flower pots fit correctly in our styrofoam bed. Finishing this, I'm gonna show you how our styrofoam bed finishes and how it fits in our container. Let's see if it works. We're almost finished. There it is. Take a look. We finished down the holes, and I use in all holes the technique that I just showed it to you. Now let's see if it fits actually in our container. Well, people, let's see if it really fits in our container, if we really made a good job. Let's see, our styrofoam bed, we're gonna try to fit this bed into this container. We're gonna try to make up some pressure so it can fit correctly. And there it is, our styrofoam bed. It's a decent bed. It's not perfect, but it makes the job done. But it looks good. What I mentioned you is to fill up the holes, like these ones. Fill the holes with styrofoam also, so the light cannot pass through. So we don't have any problem with algae. So we're almost finished. Now what we're gonna do is place it in a table and place the water and place the air pump with the air stones. So let's go.